Hello, my sweet goats. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. We are live with Billy the Fridge, and I actually just got suspended off of Twitter. Hello, my sweet goats. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. We are live with Billy the Fridge. I do apologize. We got a little bit of feedback. We're trying a new setup, guys. Make sure to let us know. Make sure to let us know what's going on. Are we good? Are we good right now? We're good? Okay. We have a multi-cam setup, guys. Just as I'm about to fucking really up the interview game in terms of like chill ass interviews, I get fucked off of Twitter, bro.
Man, dude, it's literally like I was talking to you on Twitter what, an hour ago, setting this stuff up.
I was trying to DM you, dude. You know how I found out I got suspended? And this is the tragic thing. I was making a repost about you. I was making a repost. I was like, all right, guys, we're gonna be live at 9. Boom. Suspended from fucking Twitter. Suspended off of a ridiculously dumb joke or observation.
It was ASCII joke. Like you got banned for fucking emojis, basically.
I got banned for emojis. Hell? I got banned for emojis and a couple of words. That's pretty much it. So listen, I've appealed. I'm not gonna freak out too much about it. I think Twitter is completely out of their minds. I think it's really just because I got a lot of I got mass reported for something. So there's probably people in the group chat that saw that tweet were like, let's get this guy out of here, and that's pretty much what happened. But for everyone that's in the chat right now, if you guys can go ahead and let me know what you guys think of the setup, that'd be really, really cool. I'm watching right now. Actually, I'm watching this watching the fucking camera. I look so lazy and fucked up, bro. You see it?
You look hella relaxed. I'm jelly, actually.
I am relaxed. I mean, I'm chilling with you, my buddy Billy the Fridge. For those of you guys that don't know who Billy the Fridge is, okay, I know I talk about a lot of politics and stuff like that. So Billy the Fridge may be off your radar, but he's a hip hop artist from Seattle. Really, really cool dude who I had the pleasure of meeting at VidCon last year, and it was just like a great time, like instant connection. Like this guy's chill, real as fuck. You guys are gonna really like him. We actually talked for like an hour last week. We were just talking. We just talked and we just chilled for like an hour. Surprisingly, just like flew by when talking to you. How you been, man? How's your day? What's going on?
Oh, I mean, my day's going good. I woke up and I'm not dead. I've been dieting, so like everything I do now is based around not eating food, which sucks because I used to just base everything around eating food, right?
So wait, so when you're basing it around not eating food, so pretty much what you do is you get up, you'll be like, fuck, you'll remember what you ate, what you used to eat, and then you're not going to go and eat it. You're going to tell yourself, I used to eat this, can't eat it.
Yeah.
So what did you eat today?
I had like some protein sausages. I've been doing the keto diet.
Okay.
So I had that, and I had some asparagus and some mushrooms, and I don't know, that's about it.
Holy fuck. So you're not doing any carbs, you're not doing any sugar.
Yeah, I cut out all sugar. I mean, I'm fat as hell, so it's working. I'm not hungry like I used to be. Now I just have to figure out what to do with my free time. Because normally when I was bored, I'd just go eat a giant fucking child or something.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? I feel like for those of you guys that don't know, ketogenic diet is pretty much no carbs, no sugar, just like proteins, meat, stuff like that. You know, like it's pretty meat heavy diet. I know a lot of people that do it. It really helps you cut weight really, really quickly because it gets your brain off of using sugars for energy to carbs. So because you are or fats actually to fats. So you don't use sugars or carbs for energy anymore. It starts burning the fat for energy because that's what fat is. Fat is really just like energy stored. So you're probably one of the most energetic people on the planet right now. That's pretty much what's been happening.
It's working out perfectly. I'm gonna start doing backflips and shit.
You aren't okay. Listen, you call yourself fat, okay? All right. You know, if we're gonna speak in technical terms, yes, obviously you're fat, but you don't like. I was telling you this. You don't seem like a fat guy. You're not like a fucked up fat guy. You're just like a fat. Like you're walking around places. You don't give a shit. You know, like you're super ambulatory for a fat guy. Like you're not like how much do you weigh exactly? How much do you weigh? If you want to talk about that.
I'm over 500 pounds.
Over
like
500 pounds.
I'm like 513 pounds, and I'm down. I just bought my first scale of my life like 3 weeks ago, and I'm down like 15 pounds since then. But I should be dropping like 100 pounds a week at this point. That's how I feel. The amount of shit I've been changing, the amount of calories I've been depleting from my body, and no sugar. It should just like drop off me in a day, right? That's how I feel.
That's so
I
crazy.
feel entitled to being thin.
That's so crazy. But I am dreading the day that you become super thin. Because
I don't think I will be.
Are you like so I feel like you're gonna be at some point you're just gonna be like 300 pounds muscle. That's
Yeah, exactly. That's my plan. Is when I start to drop this, I'm just gonna start going to the gym and getting yoked and gaining it all back. I want to be like 400 pounds of just barrel-chested log cabin building muscle.
Well, the thing is that, you know, for a fat guy, right? Like I said, you are super, like, you're able to walk, chill, do your thing, right? And like other people who are, you know, also overweight, they tend to look at it and be like, how the fuck is he doing this? Like, how the fuck are you doing what you're doing? Like, I can't move around the way you do. And you're like, yeah. So that tells me, and I was telling my friends earlier, I was like, yo, this guy, this fucking guy, he is for sure the strongest fucking person ever. Like, the fact that you're able to carry your weight around, walk around, not give a you are so fucking strong, and I can only imagine how scary you'll be once you're fucking ripped. Like, you're gonna be like, you know, it's crazy if you think about it. You're like a strong man. You're a strong man, and just waiting to happen.
Yeah, like at 500 pounds, you have to figure each one of my legs has to be able to carry 500 pounds minimum, right?
Yeah.
So
can you stand on one? Can you stand on one leg for a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Holy fuck!
I haven't tried it for a while, but I used to do the Karate Kid pose, where I would be like standing on one leg and have one leg up. I could last that for about, I don't know, 15 seconds before I lose my balance. But
oh, shit, that's good though. That's really good. That's amazing.
Yeah, I used to do pro wrestling, right? Like I would train, and one of the big things I would do is I would like kick people, like 6 foot tall dudes, in the face. I would do like a super kick, and that definitely has me not only carrying weight on one leg, but pivoting the weight and moving at the same like time, so that my leg has to be super strong. I don't know if I can do that right now because I quit wrestling like a decade ago, but it's at one point I was a bad fat dude. I was a tough son of a bitch. I've always been this size, like give or take.
You are. I wouldn't fuck with you. Not for one. Not in one. Like at any moment in my life would I consider that a logical decision to make for myself. If my goal is to continue living, I wouldn't. I wouldn't fuck with you. So like that's the thing. I don't know. It's like it's just yeah. I mean, what I remember when I saw you, you did a backflip, you did a front flip into the swimming pool. Into the swimming pool at VidCon. It was hilarious.
That was the dopest setup.
Oh man, that place was sick. I remember waking up and it felt like it was surreal, man. Waking up and just seeing all my friends around, and then you in the backyard curled up and under comforters. Like it was sick. You slept outside. I'm like, yo, only in California can this happen. This wouldn't be able to. This would be maybe a It might be a possibility during the summer up north, but like fuck, man, California can happen all year round. You can just sleep outside.
I like sleeping under the stars, so it was like,
oh, for sure.
There was a place for me to sleep in the house, and I was like, nah, I'm doing it by poolside. I love that.
I like feel like that's like such an option for people now. I feel like I'm gonna pitch that to people for next VidCon. Be like, hey guys, you guys want? We don't have room in the house, but bring a sleeping bag. Chill outside.
Pool party.
Yeah, exactly. Real. Just chill outside. I was telling Lacey, I said, I wanna move into your backyard. I'm just gonna live in a tent in your backyard. And she's like, go for it. You know, obviously she'd probably not cool with that, because if there was someone, or maybe she would, I don't know. I don't know how serious she was being when she said go for it. I wasn't being serious when I suggested it, but I was like, yeah, I could live in your backyard. I don't know why more people don't live outside.
Oh, I think a lot of people do, right? Like we have tent cities here in Seattle.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but I'm saying like people with a home. You know, like how many people with a home live outside on their property? Think about that. Dude,
I've been like selling this property I'm at right now, and I took some people around the house to like show off the house. I hadn't like been around for a while, and there was a fucking tent set up in my backyard. I think I had somebody living in my backyard. I looked inside and there was some shit in there. Like and then the tent disappeared like the next day.
Was there a used condom?
I didn't see. There's always a used condom though.
There's always a used condom. If you go to a tent city, you're gonna find used condoms. Used condoms have to be like, here's the beautiful thing about a used condom, okay? All right? It's disgusting. A used condom is just the most hideous thing you can ever see, but it is a sign of civilization. You know that there's a human being around somewhere. If you're stranded on your own for a long time and all of a sudden you come across a used condom, someone was there, which means that there's a possibility of more people being there. I'm sure there's other signs, I'm sure there is, but for the end of the day, used condoms are pretty telling. It's pretty, it's like,
except when you find a used condom like in your living room, and then it's no longer evidence that people have been living there, but evidence that shit's been going down where it shouldn't. And you're like, I know this wasn't mine. Who's fucking in my house?
I know. Nerd City says he's leaving if they don't stop talking about condoms immediately. Well, Nerd City, you can leave.
I'm going to stop talking about condoms immediately, but only because I want Nerd City to stay here and hear about my bareback vaginal entry.
What do you want? Like, what did you, when you started doing like YouTube, okay? When you started on the scene, you have just under 100,000 subscribers right now. You're like so close to hitting it.
I've been so close for like the longest time.
And I'm so surprised. I'm surprised that you're.
Well, I got that juice when Leafy was blowing up, or well, not when Leafy was blowing up, but right before Leafy died, I hooked up with Leafy Is Here, and we started doing those videos, and I was getting that juice, and then like within a month of me going back and forth with him, his channel died. Like we didn't even get to the part where we revealed that him and I were cool. Like everybody thought I was trying to kill this dude. So to this day, I still get all these little kids like, leave Leafy alone. And it's like, if his channel wouldn't have died, you would have seen that like we did hangout videos and joke videos and shit together. But nobody, like this big base, never saw that because YouTube in the middle of October switched off how different accounts would see things, right? They put in maturity levels for all intents and purposes that people couldn't see. So Leafy's 5 million followers turned into like maybe 1 million, overnight.
Shit. That's crazy. That's crazy. Leafy was like the I'd say the ultimate tragedy on YouTube. Because like even though I never was a fan of his content, like he was like the first sign of like what it means to be like a successful commentary YouTuber.
Yeah.
And on top of that, how fast that can go away. Like how fast it can just evaporate.
The good thing for him is that he made like millions of dollars doing it.
Yeah.
So now he gets to retire and just do whatever the hell he wants.
That's true.
He was super frugal about everything too. Like his production budget, is $20 okay? Was the big meme at the time because he was offering somebody $20 to do some editing for him.
Nick Cash, yeah.
Nick Cash, yeah. So that was the big meme at the time, but that wasn't just him being like particularly cheap to Nick Cash. He was particularly cheap all the time.
Oh, for sure.
His room, he had like a fold-out table with sriracha bottle and ramen. And that was the majority of his meals, like coffee and shit like that and ramen, just every day focused on making videos. He never spent big money on, it seemed like anything. The first a month or two I knew him, he had an inflatable bed as a bed. He didn't even bother buying himself an actual mattress or anything.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he saved most all of his money.
That's crazy. That's nuts, man. That's like I wouldn't know. Like I have to live hand to mouth right now. Okay, I have no money. Right? I'm like literally like, what happened to me? You want to hear what happened to me? I don't know if I told this. Okay, and stop me if I told you this. I might repeat it anyway for my audience. But pretty much, what ended up happening was I'd taken some money I'd made from YouTube. All right, like $600, like $700 US, like total. And I pushed into my bank account. Okay, And I was like, all right, I'm going to keep this here for now. I can't pay my fucking credit card bill. I'm like, there's no way I can do it. I'm just going to keep this here. We're just going to chill for now and just have a look. And like, I'll be able to like stay afloat. I'll use it for my phone bill. I'll use it for like, you know, gas money. I'm not going to spend too much. I'm not going to go out. I'm just going to be like really chill about it. Like really try to see how long this $700 can last me while pushing content out. I went to go get a haircut, okay? Haircut. Yeah. I needed to pull out like $50, $60 just to like kind of pay the person, you know? Like it was like $32 my haircut. I was going to give him like $37, okay? Yeah. So I was going to pull out like I was going to pull out some money, some extra. I always end up pulling out extra because they always overcharge you at those ATMs. They charge you like $1, $2 for the fee. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll pull out 60. So I'll have like a 20 with me, an extra 20 with me in cash. And so I go to pull out the money, declined. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm pretty sure I have $700 in there. I go home because I left my phone at home and trying to leave my phone in different places so that I don't have to like carry it with me all the time. So I'm not glued to it. Even though it won't matter now. I'm suspended off of Twitter. Some bullshit. But yeah. So I go back home, get into my online banking, see some fucking weird charge. They're like $650. And it was like the Royal Fund or something like that. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, $600 just got pulled. Then I go to my credit card account to see what happened, and there was a deposit of the same amount. They took money from me without even asking. They just took the money. They straight just took all my money, bro. I was left with less. Yeah, I was left with less than $5, bro. Less than $5.
Oh man,
it was I couldn't believe it. So I don't know how someone can willingly live that lifestyle. Like right now, I'm living this lifestyle that I've never had to live before. Never in my entire life. Even when I've had no money. I've never had to live like this before, but now I do. Because I got bills to pay and all this stuff. So I'm waking up every day thinking, what the fuck is going to happen? So anytime there's even a slight problem in my life, it's like a fucking mountain. It's huge. So it's like, I can't, like when you tell me about Leafy making all this money and he's still living on eating ramen sriracha, like, it's crazy, dude. Yeah. It's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
Was it like the credit card company connected to your bank took the money? Like, how does that even? Was the card connected to the bank?
Yeah, the card's connected to the bank. Everything's connected to my bank. I have one bank, so I have the credit card and all this stuff. But I mean, like, they normally ask, right? They've always called to ask.
They should, yeah.
Yeah, they call to ask, and that's what I expected always do. But this time they just decided to take out money, and I was like, okay, well, if they're just gonna take out money like that, then they should stop calling. But they call my house every day. It's the most annoying thing ever. And I always have to look at the phone and wait for them to call. I don't want my parents to pick up. I'm like, yo, mom, dad, don't pick up the fucking phone. Your bum of a son is upstairs trying to make internet money.
not trying to get that cash.
Shit, dude. Oh, dude, it's so hard, bro. This game is impossible. So what's the recommendation you can give to people who are just starting out on YouTube? Like, I can imagine that you are doing YouTube isn't your main source of income.
You know, it's not, but I am an entertainer, so I do get like minimal income from a lot of different areas, but that's been built up over like a decade of being a musician, you know, being a rapper. I don't even want to say musician. I fucking talk over rap beats. Patreon fame bit I see Nerd City chiming in with. These are all like great things to work your way up to, but people who are just getting started, you know, you're not going to be able to get any significant money out of it off the bat, right? Like this is something you have to build towards. So the best advice for people starting out is find a way to do it without getting paid and do it to the best of your ability and love what you do, because you're not going to get paid right off the bat, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and if you love what you do and it's a hobby before it's a job, it could be a jobby, you know, a job hobby, but you got to love what you do, because you got to be willing to do it for free until people are willing to pay you for it. And that's just, you don't know how long that's going to be.
I agree. You don't know how long it's going to be. I think what sucks is that YouTube accidentally gives people a taste. It gives them a taste. It always gives them a little bit of taste. It says, here's your fucking first video. You just made a video? Okay, here's 200,000 views and some nice money this month. And you're like, oh, and then you expect it's gonna continue that way, and it just doesn't. It kind of just like goes away sometimes.
Oh, the first month, right before they switched their algorithm around in October 2016, I was getting like fucking huge numbers. For 1 month, I was like the man. And then it stopped.
What are you drinking, bro?
Water. With this diet, it's like I don't put anything in my body that has calories in it, so it's like either water or unsweetened iced tea, and no liquid calories at least.
Well,
You know, I
liquid
try.
calories are the most dangerous kind of calories.
Yeah, I
They're
try
the
and keep all of my calories in like high protein stuff so that my body can run off the energy of that and keep me full.
shit, man.
And then vegetables and shit too, but those are minimal calories compared to everything else.
That's it's pretty fucking that's restrictive, man. I don't know if I'd be able to do that right now.
The way I look at
I
it
need my
is that I
comfort
have,
food.
I know, right? The way I look at it though is that I've had probably more donuts in my lifetime than 4 or 5 people in their lifetime already. So
Are
I
donuts your
can,
favorite kind of pastry snack?
not even.
So
They're just,
what is your favorite pastry snack? What is it?
uh,
Doesn't need to be the you don't need to think of your favorite, but think of one of the first few things that pop in your head apart from a donut.
like a tiramisu.
That's good, man.
I
Tiramisu is
think
good.
is really good. Yeah, with that rummy sort of flavor
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
Like,
I'm a
there's
big
so
apple
many good
crumble guy. I love
cakes.
fucking apple pies, man. You mean
Apple
apple
pies
crumble?
are great.
Oh, bro, that's
Yeah.
crazy. With a little bit of vanilla ice cream on the side. Kid,
Yup.
there's nothing more you need in life. If I mean, I'll often wonder, like, what are we doing online? Like, what are we doing on the internet? Why are we here? Why are we putting our opinions out here? Why are we getting in trouble? You know, like, what's happening? Like, what's the end game? Because I feel like, you know, anytime I'm doing anything, I'm like, okay, well, I really can't wait to just have a life where I can just settle down and just chill out and, you know, and have a family and just chill. That's like
Is that your end game?
well, kind of, yeah. I really just want to chill.
With me, like this is my chilling when I'm online and talking with friends or talking with people in the chat. Like if I'm streaming solo or if I'm on a stream with anybody, really, that's my chill time. Like I'm building this because I want the audience. I crave the audience personally. You know, like I'm an entertainer till I die. I don't want kids. I don't want a family. If they happen because I've gotten so good at what I do that I just have the free time to fuck around and then make a new person to entertain. Basically, that's all fatherhood would be to me, is having a new fucking person to make laugh.
That's so
Personally,
funny. That's actually not bad, to be honest with you. That's a really nice way to look at fatherhood.
yeah,
To make your kids laugh. That's actually really really hilarious. I think that's super important. I think that a home with laughter is generally a happy home.
yeah. Even when there's like so much darkness and shit going on in the world or in the home, like my father, he had his own demons. I'm pretty sure he was undiagnosed bipolar, shit like that.
Mhm.
But uh he was funny, and he always, you know, because he was bipolar, it could be really serious one moment and then it can be fucking hilarious the next. So that's what got me through, was the hope, the laughter, really, you know.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, like when I say end game, I mean that's always been part of my end game, wanting to like have
Yeah,
a family and kids and a home and stuff like that. But like it's never been like I want to be able to attain that end game through entertainment, through making people
yeah,
laugh or and all that. But then as I've gotten into like into the political scene on Twitter, I'm like, well, you know, it'd be really interesting to see if I could play my hand in politics, see what that would be about, you know, or rub up against him in some way. Because I mean, over here in Montreal, I've been a little bit more involved in the community in the sense that like I you know have participated in campaigns for to get people to go and vote for like the municipal election stuff like that. You know, like I'm involved to some degree, but at the same time, you know, it's weird. Like in the last few weeks, I've had many moments where I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what do I want to do? Where am I going with this? Am I an interview channel? Am I a commentary channel? Who am I? Who the fuck am I on this platform? Am I just me? Does that mean like I can just start doing one thing another day and then another thing another time? You know what I mean? It's weird
Yeah.
because like when you're on YouTube, okay, you kind of are scared of being put into a corner, you know, like, and this is your part of YouTube, like this is what you need to stick to. And then when you try to do something else, you're scared to get out of it because you're afraid that, you know, the system's just gonna like chew you up and then just like throw you under the bus. Like some people who
Yeah.
try to like rebrand in a way, they like try to do something different, you know, and then all of a sudden like nobody cares about them anymore. It's like a really scary thing.
Well, it's not even sometimes it's not even that nobody cares about you anymore. It gets to the point where YouTube no longer rewards what you do. They'll straight up kill what you do, right? Like if you're a big loudmouth cuss son of a bitch that talks shit like I was, YouTube was like, we don't really want to reward that. So that gets gutted. If you're super political and the opposition wants to try and neuter you by getting your fucking Twitter shut down, it's like that your fan base is still out there, right? They still want you to do what you're doing, and you're not allowed to because the fucking world shits on you. So I think what you got to do is stay connected with those that care about you. Find a way, like right here, right now, this interview. If people are here watching you, build upon that. If you lose your base with Twitter, you got to find another place where you're loved because you are loved, right? These people, they want to see you.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. It's not about. It's never been a question about like, well, who loves me, who doesn't love me. It's more about just like you end up relying on these systems, right? Because they do
Yeah,
amplify your voice. When I tweet something about out, it goes out and people immediately start sharing it, and people start following me, and like bigger people start following me, and like that's what happens.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm gone, and then you can't do anything. You're at their mercy. It's really crazy. So it can be a little alarming, honestly. And YouTube I
No,
find has
no,
been a lot better because I mean I established some kind of connection with people who work at YouTube, so I can at the very least reach out to someone there and be like, "Yo, what's going on? Am I doing something wrong?" And then they can be like, "You're doing this wrong," and then I can be like, "All right, let me just fix that up." Like not in the sense like
yeah,
they can't be like, "Yo, you're doing this wrong. This is how you get more views," but more like you're doing this wrong. Like this is not what this is not what we're about. You know, like if it's something like crazy political that I'm doing or something like that. So it's
yeah.
like easier that way. But with Twitter, there's no real connection with them. You know, same thing with Facebook or Instagram. There's no real connection with someone there unless you're in the press. You know who Tim Pool is?
Yeah.
So Tim Pool, I mean, this guy worked for Vice at one point. When he got a job at Vice, he was verified within like no time. No time.
Yeah.
Just hit him up with that verification.
I've had a ton of people I know who were signed to like small record labels here in Seattle, and they had immediate verification with like 2,000 followers. And the whole team that was signed to this little record label, they had the green light, right? Like there's definitely when I got verified, it was like I filled out the information, and within 5 minutes I was verified after I submitted it. Like I thought it was almost automated how quickly I was verified. It was ridiculous to me. So I do know that certain people in certain channels probably do have that green light. Like if you work for Vice and you can prove it. If you have Vice, I linked an article to the Daily Mail UK, and I linked to my iTunes page, and I linked to a few other like people who were mimicking my account,
Uh-huh.
and I guess that hit all the right buttons, and boom, I was verified golden. You know,
Yeah, I think
it's
that was
like
different times though. Now if you try to go and get verified, they don't even have the option to do it anymore. They
really,
removed it recently, yeah.
oh
Because they were
shit,
like it was like a response to like the political people that were verified. People were complaining about, oh my god, I can't believe these people are verified, like Tariq Nasheed, Richard Spencer, these kinds of people. And
yeah,
so people were like, why do they have their check marks? And so some of them got their check marks removed and some kept them. And it's weird because when some people lost them, I was like, really, they lost them? But then like I saw other people who post other stuff keep them. So I was wondering like what was going on there, or if there's some kind of plan. So
yeah. It could all switch overnight. Like that's one thing about this social media thing. Look at Facebook. Like they're eating shit right now.
Yeah, they are, but they're gonna pop back up again. It's always the case. It's just at the moment right now that people are losing their minds about
Well,
Facebook.
at what point does Facebook follow MySpace though?
They
Like,
won't.
you don't think so?
No, I think
They're
Facebook.
safe.
I think Facebook is way too big. Way too big. I think if anything, Twitter could follow it, but like, I don't even think about Twitter in that regard. I think that Twitter is so different. It fills a different like, it fills up with like a different it capitalizes on a different need that people have. In terms of Facebook, you know, like Facebook's always been about like friends and community, whereas Twitter has been all about like you putting your opinion out into the world and then being part of this global conversation, which Facebook isn't good at. Like I have a Facebook page. Anytime I post on their Facebook page, it's so annoying to reply to the people replying to me. It's so annoying. It's so annoying to like share posts. It's really like overly complex. It's really about sharing posts within specific networks. So it's an entirely different strategy at approaching growing on Facebook versus growing on Twitter, because they're such different platforms, but they both are needed in their own way. Facebook is always going to be around because it connects you to your community, your like direct community. It's set up so that it allows for that kind of thing. You don't have groups on Twitter that are like Montreal groups or Seattle groups or anything like that. It's not like that on Twitter. On Facebook, you do have that. Facebook, we have like I have a bunch of groups just within the city for different districts of the city, and people post in there, and they'll post about small businesses in there, or they'll post about events happening, cookouts, stuff like that during the summer. So it's like that's the thing that Facebook encourages, and like their pages element, like their actual like legit like, you know, profile pages for like big companies and stuff, like those tend to be a little bit scummy because of the way they promote content. If you at one point there was a big controversy about how like if you bought like clicks with them, if you bought you know, some impression of them, they'd give them off to like really shitty accounts like that don't even matter.
Well, they would go to like India click farms
Exactly.
and shit would swoop them up.
Exactly.
And it got to the point where the Facebook wasn't promoting, or not promoting, it wasn't putting out like your personal posts if they had any sort of promotion behind them, right? Like if you were a speaker, your audience wouldn't see you. You'd have to pay the $20 just to get viewed in your own audience, or $40 or whatever it was. It's really hindered itself. What I've noticed is that Facebook is like an old person's thing now. Kids aren't on there. They don't give a shit about Facebook anymore. It's not cool. It's like for parents.
Yeah.
It's for moms that play Farmville.
Well, no, the kids are on Instagram, right? That's where they're at.
Instagram and Snapchat, and I think there's this porn website I go to that's got a bunch of kids on it.
What?
Oh no. That's not true.
Oh, oh shit. I was like, what the fuck?
I gotta throw one of those in every once in a while. I got it.
That's so good. That's good. That was great, man.
Gotta keep people on their toes.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. You wanted to just make sure I was paying attention to you. I was fully paying attention to you. I'm looking at you. I haven't stopped looking at you. I mean, I look occasionally at the chat to see what people are saying, but yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, no, I would say like, yeah, Instagram is definitely huge. Instagram is massive. It's like I see the engagement that like people like Chris Raygun get, some black guy, oh my god, Blair White. It's through the fucking roof, the engagement there. Like I don't like it makes no sense.
It's weird because Instagram is owned by Facebook, right?
It is, yeah.
I feel like it hasn't been stunted like these other sites have, because the algorithm almost suppresses audience interaction, it seems, unless like you're really hot in that moment. Instagram hasn't been hit like that yet, from what I've noticed.
They have an Instagram. Here's the thing about Instagram that's different from Twitter, right? So Twitter, you can be this fucking Pepe the Frog rat just hanging out on fucking and just making political shit posts or whatever like that, and you can get like thousands of retweets, thousands of likes, that kind of stuff, crazy amounts of impressions, and people don't even see your face. Instagram, it only really works for people who have a lifestyle that they can actually go ahead and promote, you know? And it sucks because I really enjoy Twitter because I love talking politics. I love sharing stuff on there, and I think it's like a really fun platform to play with. But when I'm posting on Instagram, I can actually see like my numbers just going up on that. Like it's crazy. It's very observable to see like how the level of engagement is. And if I do stories on Instagram, it's like more engagement that happens. But it's like, well, it's a much more realistic engagement. If you also look in terms of like how what your impressions are worth on Instagram versus Twitter, it's like night and day. Like Twitter is like dirt poor. Like nobody, no marketer is gonna come to you and be like, oh, would you like to promote this product just on your Twitter? Because the click through rate on Twitter is really garbage, and the impressions on Twitter aren't worth as much as the impressions on Instagram, because Instagram is like, it's a different level of engagement. It's like more active engagement. Like people are liking the photo, then they're commenting, and like it's just, I don't know. It's just, I haven't gotten into Instagram yet. I really need to like get into it a bit more. But just from my basic impression of it, coupled with like my marketing knowledge, I know that it's a more valuable platform.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's interesting because I don't get it. But there's always been this pull for me with Twitter. Always, like anytime Twitter is just there's something so intriguing about it. Like I don't know what it is. Oh, thanks, bro.
Well, I think with Twitter, you can have a conversation pretty easily with like 12 influencers, and it's gonna ladder all the way down. You really don't see that in Instagram or Facebook. You don't see a lot of the cross brand interaction as naturally as it is with Twitter.
That's it. Yeah, Twitter. I mean, like I can start a tweet thread, and then you'll show up, or then someone else, then Ricky will show up, and then somebody else will show up, and that's it. And next thing you know, you got a full group of people just talking, and it's hilarious, right? It's a good thread. Whereas on Instagram, you can't really see who's commenting on whose stuff. I mean, you can if you go.
You can, but it's not as accessible. When you go to Instagram, it's like there's everybody else there, and then it almost hides itself in the comments when you get a good string going.
Do you? Okay, you seem to really be knowledgeable about this stuff. So, do you like? Have you spent time, like looking into marketing strategies and stuff like that? Is that something that you do?
I kind of came up.
I hate talking about this sometimes with people because it's annoying, because when I'm talking about with people who are fully aware of what's going on, like they're fully aware of branding and all that stuff, like other YouTubers, people who aren't really connected with that mindset lose their shit because they're like, oh my God, everything's fake. But it doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means that we're a little bit more aware of how we want to get our word out there and how we want to get our brands out there.
Yeah. So, a lot of it is engineered, right? I came up with a circle of people who were hackers, kind of, I was affiliated with social engineers, people who knew how to manipulate the public for like nefarious gains, basically. So I got to see a lot of that from like the outside looking in on these people who were just basically the pirates, right? Like the digital gangsters and shit. So that's where I picked up most of my knowledge there. And also, I've been pushing my music and myself for damn near a decade. I was pimping out MySpace back in the day. So I know how to do it just from actually doing it, but that seeing how exploitative it can actually get was not with me, right? I tried to be organic with my own build.
Yeah, same.
But I could see how easily people are taken for a ride online.
Oh, totally. And it's easy to take people for a ride. It's so easy to take people for a ride if you know how to do it. And it's annoying because sometimes, even when you're doing it organically, it may look to people who want it to look like you're taking people for a ride, that you're taking people for a ride. Like, it may look like they'll be like, oh, this guy's not being serious. Look, he's saying this. It's almost too perfect. Like, the way he said it's almost too perfect. Like, no, but that's really how I feel. Or, like, that's really what I'm thinking. But the people who don't want to believe that, they can argue that, because you revealed that you know how to do this stuff already, that you're doing it. And I mean, I wanted to, the thing that I think I fucked up by showing people that I was a marketer and showing people that I'm good at doing that kind of stuff and like, pitching the right idea. And because it got people to start thinking about how like the things I was saying, the things I was talking about. They're like,
Yeah.
wait, is he really saying this because he believes it, or is he really saying this because he wants to gain in popularity? And it's hard to argue against that because you can be like, no, no, I'm being honest with you, but you're telling people that, but then people will be like, well, you tell people that you're very good at painting a picture a certain way, so obviously, like, I can't trust anything that you say. It's just weird.
Which is ridiculous because by telling people that you're good at painting a picture a certain way, you are being honest with them that you're the painter, the architect. You know, you are the marketer.
Yeah.
It is honesty.
Yeah, it's honesty though that can make people who aren't aware of it cringe a little bit because they don't
Yeah.
know how to do it themselves. That's why they're the viewers. They're the ones that aren't being the people who are creating the content to push out. But the people who do start creating content, the people do have do want to gain a platform. They're the ones that realize that that's the way to go. I always find that strange when there's content creators who have a problem with it. And I'm like, yo, dude, like, what are you doing? Do you want to grow or do you not want to grow? Just that simple. So
Yeah, I definitely have like reservations at times with certain things because I see the trends and I can recognize where it would be smart to jump in and just ride the wave.
so many times.
But if yeah,
When Doctor Disrespect happened, oh man, there was so many people dropping videos about that, and I wanted to drop a video. I still kind of do want to drop a video because I want to talk about it because I feel for him, you know. But I didn't drop a video at the time because I was like, everybody else is talking about it. I could totally get like a couple thousand subs just off a video off of Doctor Disrespect, or you know, when something else happens, and I just sometimes I see it, I'm like, do I want to do this? Do I give enough of a shit to actually do this, or like it's weird. You get in this headspace sometimes.
you become part of the echo chamber or the peanut gallery type of thing, you know, and
Yeah.
you're just one of the many. And if you don't, if you lose sight of what makes you stand out, it does become fake, right? Like, and you don't want to lose that when you value yourself as I want to say architect or artist or marketer or whatever. When you value what you do, you don't want to sacrifice it just because you know it's more effective to let go of it at times.
Yeah.
That's the artist in me, is like, I don't just want to sit here and ride that wave, even though it probably is the right move.
Yeah,
Even
I know exactly how you feel. Like it's the ethical person in me that's like, I don't want to talk about this because I don't actually believe in it. You know, there's so many ways to grow now. Like, especially when you can grow. The easiest way to grow in the political world is by doing call outs. You can call out someone else, and all you got to do is get them in a gotcha moment, and then people are going to share it. And it can happen, and I can do it anytime. I can do 3 or 4 times a day, and I can see my numbers just grow like crazy, right? However, it's just shit. I don't feel like doing it because it's empty, because you're just calling them out and they're not really going anywhere. You're not really correcting their behavior. You're just kind of doing it to make yourself feel better. And so I don't do that. But then my numbers suffer because of it, even though it's the right thing to do in terms of like if you just want to grow. Okay, listen, we're gonna back off talking about this for now. What I want to do is I wanted to actually talk to you. You mentioned kids messaging you, all right? Kids messaging you, telling you that they were feeling better about themselves. Can you go and tell me a bit about that?
Well, I get all types of kids messaging me. Some of them want to fucking kill me because I've went after their favorite YouTuber, right?
Okay.
So it's a huge mix because kids are fucking stupid, but they're out there. They are the audience. They are the people that are making YouTube more important than television.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to deal with them. The fact that when somebody yells at their TV, the TV's not going to yell back at them. Now with YouTube, they yell at their YouTube, and the YouTube can actually yell back at them. So because of that, I'm getting these kids that are watching, you know, these little fat kids, and they're hitting me up in DMs, and they're like, everybody at school calls me Billy the Fridge, and it's because I'm fat, and they think they're making fun of me, but I think it's cool. I think you're cool, Billy. And it's like shit like that. It's like I'm becoming this little fat kid's hero, because normally they'd be picking on him saying, look at you, Big Bertha, or whatever the other fat name would become. I'm becoming the fat name, and the kids are seeing me and being like, no, you know what? He's actually a boss.
Yeah,
So
for
shit
sure.
like that, you know.
For sure, man. For sure. I mean, honestly, like I can't think of a higher compliment a fat kid could get than being called Billy the Fridge. Because I
I'm
mean, I know you,
saying.
so it's like it just makes sense. A kid getting called Billy the Fridge is like the best thing ever, and the fact that they own it, they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm like Billy the Fridge. Billy the Fridge is my hero. I think that's amazing. I think it's
Yeah.
amazing. And one thing I remember we talked about. You talked about how like you did a cross country tour for a bit, and you said like if my 600-pound life tried to do a video on me, it would be like a fucking road trip. And I was like, yo, dude, like it's maybe almost a good thing for their brand that they didn't get you to do a mixed 600-pound life because you'd have made you'd have made being fat look good, because that's pretty much
For
what you do.
real.
You actually make being fat look good. That's what I think personally.
I think I do.
You
Which is
do,
kind
man.
of
Yeah, you were like there's I can't ever imagine you being like I just feel like you were the exact how fat were you as a kid?
um I
Was there ever a time
I
where you were
was
normal size?
I don't I don't know. Maybe when I was like 4, I was a pudgy kid because most kids are pudgy, right? So I think I was always a little pudge, but I didn't really start to get fat until like 5, maybe 4 or 5. But before I was a teenager, I was over 300 pounds.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy
So
shit.
I was almost 400 pounds at 14, and then by 17, I was like 450 maybe, and I went between 450 and 550 most of my life.
But you're like
When I was
you're
on that,
you're 6'4", right? What I understand, 6'4"?
well, I was 6'4" in high school, and then I was 6'3" afterwards, and now I'm like 6'2". I think my fat is compacting my spine. So I'm, yeah.
Oh shit. I'm not
It
supposed to laugh at
depends.
that, but just the way you said it. That is
Yeah.
compacting my spine. It's like crushing you slowly.
Yeah.
It's like
On a good day, I'm 6'3", right? But
okay.
some days I can't stand as tall as that.
So you were always tall though, right? When you were in high school, you were tall.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't get picked on in high school, would you?
No, not in high school.
Did anyone ever try to pick on you in high school? Did anyone try?
Not in high school, but like when I was a first grader, I went to an elementary school, and all the sixth graders thought I was like just a really stupid sixth grader, but I was a first grader. So they're like all picking on me, thinking because I'm as big as they are. So they just think I'm like this big, dumb fucking son of a bitch. And I was just a big, little son of a bitch. I was fucking 6 years old, and they were all like 11. And they would like pick on me until my pop, who was a crazy son of a bitch. I came home crying one day, and he was like, "What the fuck happened?" And I had this like boat that my cousin had made. I brought it in for show and tell, being the little weird kid that I was. I was so proud of it. And they had broken the boat, and I came home crying. And my dad was like, "Why? What happened?" I'm like, "These kids broke my boat." And he goes, "Well, hold on, let's go find. Tell me which kid is the leader. We're gonna go visit his house." And I knew the main kid, the main bad kid. We went to his house. My dad knocked on the door. The kid answered. My dad was like, "Go get your father. He's gonna need to see this." And the guy came, and my dad's like, "Your kid's picking on my fucking kid. My kid's 6 years old. Your kid's 11 or whatever. And I want to tell you, if he keeps picking on my fucking kid, or any of his friends pick on my fucking kid, I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna beat your ass right in front of your fucking son. All right?" And he looks down at the kid, and he goes, "And I want you to know, accidents happen." And then I never really got picked on again.
That's amazing. That's
And
amazing.
I grew into my own body. I was a big tough son of a bitch. So in high school, it just wasn't gonna happen. I was the
Um,
man.
was there ever a moment in your life where you like charged at someone, like full blown like rage charged someone?
um, I'm trying to think. Like I've done it so many times as a joke, like to fuck with people and freak people out, just because one of my favorite things is charging at somebody and then stopping right short, just to scare them because it looks like a fucking crash of rhinos. But um, normally people, I just have to like look at them a certain way and they back down. There's been a few times where fights happen with like drunk people because they get certain amounts of courage, but the second you pop them in the face, they sober up real quick.
I can't imagine. I can just imagine you punching someone in the face, man. I want to see it happen one day. I don't want to see it happen because you know what? Like, I know that you probably don't want it to happen too, but at the same time, I feel like you and me in a fight together would be hilarious. Yeah. It would be hilarious. I feel like you would use me. Like, you would take me and you'd use me. You'd like swing me around and I would be okay with it. I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go, bro. It would be like the craziest tag team setup possible. Like, imagine just picking me up by the collar and then helping me do a Superman punch. Just imagine that, right? Imagine you picking me up from the back and just like me just holding my hand out and you just slam my fist.
That would be good.
It would be so good. It'd be so funny. But what are you looking forward to, man, in this year for you, man? What's happening? Is anything crazy happening with you?
I've been kind of working with the Drunken Peasants podcast pretty heavily recently. They had 3 of their hosts leave, and now I'm like the new host. So I'm replacing these 3 beloved guys in a beloved podcast that has lasted for years. I'm coming in, and I'm really focusing my attentions on that right now. But I still get people every day that are like, when's the next song coming out? When's the next album coming out? So I'm going to have to get back into the music mind pretty soon here too. As Nerd City, somebody who's in the chat that's a great YouTuber, he says VidCon in all capital letters.
Yeah.
So yeah, VidCon is going to be huge. I'm excited to get back into VidCon and see all the homies I can. Like that's the immediate reward, is getting to see people that I've met through the internet, you know.
Yeah.
I love
I'm
that.
excited.
Like,
I'm excited for that too. I hope I can afford it. I need to like just step my game up in terms of like, you know, I'm a little bit too prideful to ask for money. You know, it's not something, and I feel like a lot of people either just assume that I have money, so they don't like send me any. But like, I see other YouTubers that really push it. Like they're good. Like they push it like it's crazy. They talk about like they've got their marketing down in terms of like getting people to give them money like down to the T. I don't do that because I feel ashamed. I feel like, no, I shouldn't ask for money. They'll give it to me if they want to give me money, you know?
I try not to either, but like sometimes people just donate to a stream or something, or sometimes people send me like more money for an album than they should. You know, shit like that happens pretty often. I'm lucky that way. I have like the wheels turning with the music and the YouTube and everything. So I get money somehow because I'm a lazy son of a bitch, right? But I know that when I do what I do, I'm fairly good at it. So I guess that kind of works itself out. But I know exactly where you're coming from on that level. Yeah. And that's why we got to start a fucking GoFundMe and say that you have some sort of pancreatic surgery. And we use all that for coke and hookers at VidCon.
That'd be hilarious. Let's do it. Let's set up a GoFundMe. Say I have cancer, all right, and then just like make a real sad story. You know, I'll shave my head for it, and I'll even walk around looking all frail and shit. We'll really up it, and then when VidCon comes along, we just blow it all on fucking crazy shit.
Piles of cocaine.
Someone in the chat wants to hear a crazy leafy story. I mean, can you give a crazy leafy story? By the way, for those of you guys, here's another thing that Billy is funny. I think that's funny about Billy. He actually he's notorious for calling the people that everybody hates on the internet his boys.
They're my boys.
He's called Shkreli. My boy Shkreli is gonna get prison time.
My boy Shkreli. I really hope his sentence gets dropped a bit. 7 years is... Do
you know Shkreli personally?
We used to talk every day on like Discord and Tiny Chat style websites. Like we'd be live and we'd basically run like a daily podcast for 6 hours where it's me, him, and we'd bring in other people, video, audio, all that shit going on. It was almost like he was Howard Stern, I was Artie Lang, and then we'd fill the rest of the spots open, and we would just bullshit for hours and hours. It got to the point where like he'd have a girl over that he was like banging, and he'd introduce her to me as like, hey, this is my best friend Billy the Fridge. You
That's
know,
fucking hilarious, man.
that's my dude. Like
That's funny.
I hear
That's so funny.
I hear so much negative shit about him that is wrong, right? But then he is a capitalist, and he did do something that you can judge as being terrible, right? So it's like it's hard for me to defend him too much because I defending capitalism isn't my thing. I'm not a capitalist, right? But I really feel like that dude gets a bad rap, and he cares about people. He really does. He's picked up a bunch of drugs, that life-saving drugs that nobody else was willing to make, and he saved people's lives. And he never he might have cost people a lot of money, but everybody who needed the medicine that he raised the price on would get it if they needed it. He gave 60% of it away for free, right? And I feel like the media doesn't put that out there because it's not a good story.
I mean, at the end of the day, the people who are going to be paying, the way the media portrayed it was that they portrayed it as people would individually have to pay more for his drug price, but it wasn't the people that were paying it. It was the pharmaceutical companies that were paying the increased amount for the drug price. He was pretty much just conning these not well. I'm not going to use the word conning, but he was out ratting the rats. That's what he was doing.
Well, that's the whole reason why he's a hedge fund guy that went into pharmaceuticals. You know, he's not the only one who did that. Hedge funds got gutted in 2008 with the housing prices, the housing crisis, and all that shit. And we put so many things in place that closed down the open range for these hedge fund guys to just make hella fucking money off crazy shit. And they moved into pharmaceuticals because they found an exploit there that they could make a ton of fucking money the same way they were doing before the housing crisis blew up. Yeah. So it's like he's one small part of a huge problem that we have to deal with as a country before, you know, it destroys the infrastructure. We can't just keep wasting money. Basically, what a lot of this comes down to. But you know, he just took advantage of an exploit in the system, which, you know, it's shady or whatever. But he's definitely not the only one. If you watch Netflix, they have a series called Dirty Money. And I don't know, Netflix switches the cover pictures for everybody. My cover picture was a big picture of Martin Shkreli. I clicked in it. There's like 10 episodes. He was in episode 3, and he was only in episode 3 for a couple minutes. And they used his face to promote this entire documentary series, Dirty Money, because they know he's that guy that the world hates.
Yeah.
Because not only did they put him in the position to be hated, but he played it up. Like, he's a huge fan of pro wrestling, you know?
Well, and he's a huge fan of like general pop culture. I was really surprised to see that about him. And like, it was interesting because I thought like this guy, he seemed pretty, like when I saw him talk about stuff, when he wasn't being a dick, you know, when he wasn't being a dick to people, like I saw him and I was like, yo, I like the way this guy talks sometimes. Did you ever listen to the Wu-Tang album? Did you get a chance?
Pieces of it. He like invited me to New York City to like hang out with him and bump it and everything, and I never got to make it out there, unfortunately. I was gonna head out there with Leafy at one point. Me and Leafy were gonna go hang with him, and then Leafy had something come up and he had to cancel. And I was gonna go one time before, and the person I was heading out to New York City with canceled, so like I canceled. I should have went by myself. You know, I never really expected him to get locked up.
And you should have wired yourself. You should have wired yourself. Listen to the whole album. And then we're like, Shkreli, fuck you. I got you, bitch. This is for Wu-Tang. This is for
I got you. Because he's like a prankster guy too. So a lot of the shit that gets out there is him just trolling.
I know.
You know? So I've trolled him a couple times like that, and he's like, he doesn't like getting trolled, but like I've
trolled him
a little bit. You know?
He used to stream on YouTube. Streaming games once. I went in and trolled him. It was silly. Raise, man, thank you so much for the $10, man. He says, Bunty, this one's for you, bro. I appreciate that, dude. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, dude, tell me a Leafy story, and then we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna close it off, and then that's that.
All right. Um, this is this is a weird story. The first day I hung out with Leafy was the day that Nick Cash released his video calling out Leafy for the $20 okay thing,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And he and I were gonna film a bunch of stuff for his channel because I had already been doing a couple of videos against him, and we were ready to film a bunch of shit, but he starts getting all these Skype calls from people wanting to talk to him about everything. So I'm sitting in his room while he's dealing with, like, he's on a Skype call with, I think, Colossal is Crazy and Pyro Cynical and somebody else, and they're just going off for fucking hours. Like, I'm sitting here waiting for him to get through, and he's like, one second, man, 1 second, we'll be done. And I'm just sitting here like having to be quiet the whole fucking time. And at one point, they all just start fucking looking at pictures of fat people and laughing. Like, I don't know. I'm a fat person, so Leafy looks at me and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with them? You know, like, he's mimicking it out. And I'm like, dude, your favorite YouTuber hates fat people. It's fucked up, guys. And if you're out there right now and you hate fat people, maybe you should rethink your stance. Because we're people too, even though we look like we might be animals, like livestock or something.
Are you talking about Colossal?
Colossal, yeah, Colossal hates fat people.
Colossal got banned off of Twitlonger for his fat people post.
I feel bad because I kind of like pushed him into that bullshitting with him, and like it was funny because we were just bullshitting, and then he did that big Twitlonger, and then he got fucking gutted, and I was like, shit.
Like, first of all, now you know that the owner of Twitlonger is a fat ass. Now you know that for sure. Because the fact that he would ban someone for that, it was such an obvious joke, the post. Like, I read it, I was like, whatever. Why do people take things so seriously, man? I don't get it. It's like this whole thing that I got fucking suspended for today. I don't know what the fuck it is. What the hell, man?
We know why people take things so seriously. They're stupid. They can't recognize nuance. They can't recognize depth. They can't recognize that they can't look at the world through somebody else's eyes, right? They're not capable of seeing the bigger picture or a picture other than the one that's stuck in their fucking blinders.
Well, what I can see their side of it in the sense that, like, they feel like they get hate on all the time, so they see this big guy posting about something, you know, like oh shit. But at the same time, like, all you need to do is just ask about it or have a conversation. And there was an actual conversation happening underneath the thread. Like, people were talking about the term turf and like whether it's something that needs to be thrown around a lot. Lacey Green was in there. You know, whenever Lacey Green shows up, it's a fucking productive conversation. You know, I like it. I was watching, I was reading, I was like, wow, people are really nice talking to each other. It's like, chill. And then I get fucking suspended. It's like fucking crazy, man.
It's people that just they can't be a part of the conversation. They can't formulate words powerful enough to contend with those that are actually having the dialogue. And so they screech, they whine, they cry, they try and silence the person with force.
So
right?
tragic. So tragic, man.
That's along the lines of rape. Force is force no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're forcing someone to shut up rather
they raped
than
my platform. I've been raped. I'm a rape victim. That's pretty much
I mean, it's along the same lines. it's not the same thing. It's not.
I know.
But if you think you're right, all right, you should be able to express that with words. You shouldn't have to silence your opposition. Or
you just mute them or block them and you move on.
Yeah.
You don't need to. There's so many people that I don't really feel like having to address with words all the time, because you have to, if you feel like you have to prove yourself or you have to prove like your argument right every time with so many people, it gets crazy, man. It gets nuts.
Yeah. So. That's why if anybody has a problem with me, I just, tell them I will stuff my wiener in the back of their fucking ear, and then they either let me do it or they leave me alone. It's that simple.
Someone just said Some guy, anonymous guy in the chat said, "Can we go back to talk about how Billy claims to not be a capitalist while profiting off of a capitalist society?" They always do this. They always try to have this gotcha moment with you. Like, everybody here is profiting from a capitalist, unless you're living in the woods and you don't have a job, buddy. You're profiting off of a capitalist society. I don't know what you want me to say.
I don't think I'm profiting off of a capitalist.
No, you're
society.
not. You're not. You're fine. That person's unhinged. I don't know what they're saying.
I'm wading in the waters of capitalism, trying not to drown.
Same.
And while I do that, you know, I'm making sure other people around me aren't drowning as well. And that's as good as I think we can do.
Good guy, Billy. Good guy, Billy. Billy, what is the... Okay, I got to ask you a question now. This is the last question we're going to ask. I didn't prepare any questions, but I want to know something, right? If you had to kill me right now in this instant, okay?
Yeah.
What would you do? How would you kill me?
I think first I would hug you, right? And I would say, Bunty, I'm sorry, man. You gotta die. And depending on how you reacted, it could get really fucking violent. I think, or if you were like, what do you mean, Billy? And then if you were like if we could talk it out, I would try and have you come to terms with the fact that it was your time, right? I would really try and do that. But if you were like, fuck no, you can't kill me, I think I would probably wrap you up in my arms, bear hug style, get one across your throat, fall back to the ground, put my elbow into your throat, look you in the eyes, and as you lost your last breath with my 500-pound frame draped across your breathing tube, I would say, you're gonna die. But no, every moment you lived can never be taken away from you.
It's good. It's cool, man. I think I'm gonna ask this question to absolutely everyone. I'm gonna have a roaming millennial in here like 2 weeks from now, and I'm gonna ask her that question as well. I'm gonna see, hey, if you had to kill me right now, how would you do it? And I have to get her to think like a killer for a second.
I'm gonna guess she's gonna say poison.
Maybe.
Or she's gonna like stab you in the fucking neck.
Possible.
But I'm leaning towards poison for her. Because she's not a huge person, right? Women always resort to like poison. You know? For murder, as far as I'm concerned.
It's that's from Game of Thrones. You watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. It's yeah. Billy, man, it was good to fucking talk to you, and it was good to have you on the show.
Always good to talk to you.
It was really nice. This is like the first interview I've done in a little bit. Last interview I did was like ages ago.
Well, I'm loving the setup. It looks super comfortable. I'm only bummed that I didn't have an equally comfortable setup to like chill with you. We got to just do couch sessions every once in a while.
Yeah, man. I'm hoping to set up, like, I'm hoping to have more of this in the future. It's now just a bit of it just sucks because I use Twitter quite actively to get my word out there, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of shit, but we'll see. Hopefully my account will get unbanned, because I mean, I put an appeal. I was like, yo, like, this is a joke. It wasn't real. I wasn't.
Yeah.
serious.
I think that I'm hoping that appeal happens, but you really got to start getting your Instagram game up, dude. Get yourself like a fat bootied model broad to kick it with all the time, and just
yeah, I know.
Push that.
I mean, it could happen. Actually, that's a really good idea. I mean, there's definitely women that want to hang around with me. So
yeah,
it's possible.
I see a lot of cuties that like will follow me, and the only other people that they follow that I know is like you, and then like other cuties. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah, man. Let's joke.
Bunty's got gas. He's got them arrows.
All right, bro. We're gonna go ahead and close it. For those of you guys that were watching, thank you guys so much for watching. I guys appreciate you guys very much. If you guys want, go ahead and leave a like. Of course, go ahead and hit the sub button if you guys are completely new to this channel. Of course, also check out Billy the Fridge. Great dude, really great dude. I would say follow him on Twitter, because that's where you're really gonna get like the most Billy impact. I think that your Twitter is more active than your YouTube right now, right? Is that the case?
Yeah, I pretty much only stream on YouTube right now, but I'm thinking about turning my channel into a dieting channel. Like I'm gonna start telling people that I'm dieting rather than actually dieting, just so I get all the kids that come in and be like, "You're fat. Why are you telling people how to diet? You're so fat." Just because it's funny to troll people.
No, it'll be good. It'll be good. That's actually a good idea. Really good idea. Thank you so much for being on the show, man. I really appreciate it. I hope to talk to you soon. And for everybody that's watching, please pray for my Twitter account. Pray. We're good.